In this video, I'm going to show you how you can model your print job configuration settings so that you can easily rerun your jobs with just a click of a button. So let's go to a new print job, and I'm going to call this USDA test, and I'm going to model my data, so MD. You can model your data or not model your data in these configuration settings. So when you model the data, whenever I rerun the job, it's going to take the original data source. If it was SQL, pull from the same server, table, selection criteria, settings, everything. If it was a CSV text file, it'll pull from the same file, location that was set up in the configuration. So we'll go down, select the printer. Now that once we've created a job with a specific printer model, that printer model will become the default model in this list from now on. So find the printer, leave it 1-for-1 disabled. I'm going to go to SQL Server. Select my server, key in the credentials, connect, pull the database, table. We've added the clear selections button now, so that if you're down doing filtering and you decide that's not what I want to do, you just hit clear and it resets your fields. So I want to pull everything, so I'm just hit the process table. I'm going to load my records. I want to map to my image field. Now on this screen we've added more information from the message off the printer. We show you now the field type and what the default field value is off of the printer. So I'll go ahead and map my date timestamp. See, the field 2 is a graphic field now, and it's pointing to the USDA graphic on the printer. So what I want to do is leave that existing data so that it will print that graphic with every impression I send to the printer. And then map my last field, I'll just let that be the product. This is where we tell CijiCue to go ahead and model the job, and this is how we tell it to model the data source. So on this one I'm going to model it, but again, if we don't model it, it'll prompt for the data source settings every time I run the job. So we'll leave it yes, save. Alright, it's ready to go to the printer. We would just hit start and it would fire up the printer. Once the line starts up, that would take off and print. So I'm going to get out of CijiCue, open it up again. I'm going to go to my run job. Now this is only available once you've set up and modeled the job, then you'll get this option. So I've got 2 jobs modeled. This is the one we just did. So let's run the one that we modeled the data set. Click run. Because we did model the data, this is just a reminder to make sure the following data source has current data, and then press OK to continue. It shows you the current data source. And if it being SQL, it'll show you any filtering you've got applied. So you click OK. It goes ahead, imports the data and sends it, prepares it to go to the printer. Now all we'd have to do is hit start printer and it would print the job. So again, let's get out of this and we'll go run the non-data modeled source. So we go to run job. I'm going to run this. Since it's not a modeled data source, it's going to prompt me for the data source. Now originally when I set this up, I did point it to SQL Server, but you could go ahead and point it to a comma separated file if that's where you want to go get it. The only thing you have to do is ensure to make sure that that data source has the same number of fields and the same order of fields that was originally set up when you modeled the job. Otherwise, the fields won't map properly on the message fields. So I'm just going to go pull a file that I know only has 1 field in it, and I know I need 6 fields. So this caused an error, and you'll see it highlights in red here what fields are in error. So it shows me that my current data source, I only found 3 fields, but in the model configuration data source there were 6 fields. Now be aware, it's showing the number of fields it shows is going to be that includes 2 system fields, and those 2 system fields are the blank and the leave as existing data that CijiCue adds to every data source. So you may be looking at a file and see maybe only 1 field in there like we did, but then CijiCue appends those system fields to it, so it's always going to be 2 higher than what you actually see in a file. Alright, so we'll click OK. Now, if I realize I just pointed to the wrong data source, I can go ahead and click Run again. But if I realize that, no, that's the right data source, it did change, I need to use that, then you would have to delete this job and then go back out and do a new print job and then save the model configurations with the current settings then. So let's go ahead and run this and point it back to SQL Server so the fields will match. Another thing it tests is if the printer message has changed in any way, where you've added a field or removed a field or you deleted the message. You'll get an error on that. So go ahead and point to the same file, load the table, load it, brought in the data, sent it, prepared it for the printer. Now we just hit Start. Now, because this is a non-model data source, you're going to get this message so you can confirm from the first record going to the printer, is this mapping correctly to the message the way you intended. And yeah, I've got a date field, I got my leave existing for my graphic, and I've got my product number going to the product on the printer. So yeah, this works good. I'm going to click OK. If it doesn't look good, you just cancel and the job will abort. So I just click OK, and then that will start up the printer, and once your production line starts, away you go. So another thing we did on this release is CijiCue no longer checks for automatic updates. We find that the clients, usually when they get a solution working, they really don't want to upgrade unless they absolutely have to. So it's entirely up to the client whether they want to apply a new upgrade or not. So if they do want to go get a new release of CijiCue at any time, they just go to the Help menu and click on Check for Updates, and then that'll apply the latest release. Otherwise, they can leave it the way it is, and CijiCue will stay at the release they installed at. And that's perfectly fine. So that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get notifications of future videos we put up on our YouTube channel. And again, thank you.